first visit, I was just really nervous. What is my son going to think? How does he feel? Is he mad at me? You know, all types of things were just running through my mind. And when I did get to see him, it seemed like he was feeling the same way. So we both like looking at each other like, you go first. No, you go first.
I was really, really angry that they had my son and that I even had to be going to the agency to visit him. Like, I didn't understand why he couldn't just come home. He was only 2 and 3 at the beginning stage of it, and he didn't understand what was going on. So he kind of like shut down. Like, the sadness that you see in his eyes was incredible. So it was hard for me to engage with him just because I didn't understand. Like, I was sad myself and I couldn't understand what was going on in a complete form. So for me to try to figure out what his emotion was going through and why does he hate me, or does he think I'm like an aunt that visits him once a week because he's not living with me? It was hard to kind of tell him, like, I'm mom and you are coming home. Like, it was really, really, I think the sadness just took us over for a while.
Hard because they were in foster care for a minute before with my aunt before I started doing the visit, so it was kind of hard getting to go back into routine to seeing them, and they didn't recognize me, they didn't know me, you know. They know my cousin was the foster mother and they knew her as mother, and it impacted me a lot.
Such a struggle watching somebody else raise my baby when I wanted to be the one to do that. Every time I saw him, he kept getting bigger and bigger, and I wanted to be the one to raise him, not somebody else.
Once your child's removed from you, that's the ultimate powerlessness. And then so you feel like you're a bad parent, you didn't do a good job, and now I'm going into this unknown place and had to visit my child in this room where everybody's watching my every move and watching my body language and how I'm interacting with my child or how my child's interacting with me.
There wasn't much said to me about what would happen. It was so scary before I went to my first visit because I had no clue what was going to happen.
Usually it was always like, don't do this, you're not supposed to do that. It was never like, Miss Vega, you should be doing this, or your visits will be beneficial if you try this. That I never got.
They didn't explain to me in a way that I could understand what's going on, more in their professional way.
I would definitely tell the parents to read through the tips so that way they can be informed on how to have positive visits to move along their case faster. Definitely to get information, not only verbally, but also in writing, so that way they can go back to it later and read through it more carefully and say, these are the things that I need to do in order to help my family get out of this situation.
It's very hard to sit with a visit with not much to do, somebody judging you the whole time, and you're wondering if you're gonna get your child back or not, and how you're gonna make your child happy, and what are you gonna do when you have to tell your child, I'm leaving now.
Visits are really scary. You don't know what your child is feeling. You already know what you're feeling. You're nervous, so if if you're nervous and you're scared, you better believe that child is feeling similar feelings. And if it's like that for you, you know it's probably double for them because they have no idea what they're going through.
it just feels like you're visiting in a jail because, you have people watching you and telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing with these kids. So I think even for the baby, it felt like a change of environment. Like, we're used to playing in the park and running around and jumping on sofas and, being kids. And we wasn't allowed to do a lot of those things at the agency. So even when they said interact with your child, we wasn't sure what that meant.
Usually you bring items that are familiar or a comfort to the child, so everybody's happier that way. If you keep bringing the same game or the same toy that your child loves so much, makes the visit go so much easier.
Once I got my craziness together, it was easier because I had a better communication with the caseworker now, and I would tell her, like, this boy's always jumping on the sofa, and what am I supposed to do with him? And then she would advise me, like, bring a coloring book, bring some crayons, bring an arts and crafting, something to read with him, or bring snacks. That way you have activities for the 2-hour period, and time goes by really quickly when you're interacting with a child and not paying attention to the clock. And I think it was just beneficial because you get the kid to actually interact with you when you're doing all these activities or you're eating something. I used to tell my families a lot to bring homemade food so that way children can, like, get that family taste still in there, or just bring things from home to do together, or album books, show the baby how the rest of the family is, just to keep that family connection somehow.
I know some of the parents have attitudes, and sometimes the caseworker would give it back, but it's not fair for either of us to have attitudes, but I have more right to have an attitude than you. My child is here, your child is home. So I may have a little attitude, just help me to get through it and give me some reassurance of the things that I can do to help get my children home, my child home. A little coaching.
I was fighting with the worker in front of the kids. She'll say something to me I don't like. I'll start cursing, yelling, raising my voice, screaming at her. And they had to call cops on me and remove me from the area. I became very chaotic. At the time, I didn't care, honestly. I just wanted to give up. So at the time, I was just on a mode where it was, F this, I'm not dealing with this. The kids could go with my cousin. I really don't care. I'm going to do what I have to do for me, and I have other kids. I didn't realize the situation where it's always going to follow you. ACS is always going to... When there's one in the system, there's two in the system. It just keeps going back and forth. So I just left it alone after that, and I did what I had to do when I had my second daughter.
I think the caseworkers sometimes don't understand how hard it is for a parent. Just the fact of losing your children is difficult in itself. All the embarrassment you feel of actually walking in an agency feeling like you did something bad or you did something wrong. I think caseworkers should acknowledge that feeling is real to parents and that shame does not go away overnight. And we have to build trust in order to communicate with them a lot better on what we need.
Parents should expect for their children to be a little nervous or unsure what's going on. So you have to be the stronger one and say, I'm going to be there for my child. And do what you can to comfort the child.
A lot of parents already been in the system when they was a child. So they come in as a grown-up, and now their children is in the system. It's like a cycle. And if they've been traumatized in the past, whether it's physical, mentally, emotional, verbal abuse, then I think a caseworker should be mindful how they come across the parent. Because even though maybe the caseworker might feel like I'm just being myself, the parent might feel, it's like a threat to them because of the past trauma that they did not get resolved. If you see a shift, like 1 minute she was okay and now she's getting hostile, it could be a reason. There's a reason behind that. Maybe she felt the way your approach to that parent might have been a reminder of a certain moment in their past.
I would have to give credit to my fifth caseworker. I would say that she was the one that came up to me and was like real and honest and was like you're the one that's holding your case back. You're angry, and your anger and violence is just showing people that that's how you react to all situations.
It was like really confusing, like, why are you in my business? That's how I felt. Like, you think I don't know what to do with my child? If you're gonna come in, just come on in and sit down. Don't keep going in and out like that. It was a little annoying.
You want the parents to feel safe around you. You want them to feel like I could come to you if I need something, or come to you if I don't understand something, not feel like, I'm gonna get screamed at or yelled at or down talked to or dismissed.
Parents come into the system confused and scared, and they portray this thing like they don't want to hear anything you have to say, or they're tired of people telling them what to do already because you've been from like authority figure to authority figure telling you what to do. But underneath that, they want the information. They want to know what they should be doing to benefit their family. They want to know how to expedite this case and navigate it to move along as quickly as possible.
The visiting coach there, she helped us deal with, the situation, the kids come into foster care, and how to bond with them, how to get to know them a little bit better once they're in foster care. She also helped me out with, doing icebergs, learning things about the kids, what they like, what their favorite colors is, what they like to do in the playroom. Brought me to a different group called Baby and Me, where we teach the kids how to clap and how to grow and do other activities.
They want to know what to do. They want to know where to go if they need certain help with anything. They want that information. They might not directly tell you, I need the information, but I think by you just giving that information willingly would help the parents up for success, will help them to move forward and have a better understanding of how the process goes.